Hello, everybody. Spider here, the Fight Card Podcast, coming to you once again here in San Antonio, Texas. Being joined once again by Juan Torres. My man, how are you, bro?
I'm good, brother. How are you doing?
Man, I'm doing great, man. It's been a while since the last time we talked. You've actually stayed busy. You've been competing a lot this year in just boxing. I mean, you've been doing a lot of boxing. I know you're would you say you're a boxer by trade? Is that how you started off in the combat sports?
So when I started off, it was I just walked into a karate gym. It was actually a karate gym, and the coach there, his name was Dan. He started doing the MMA because that's when MMA started getting popular. So he started doing MMA. I started learning some jujitsu and I love jujitsu. Like that's my first love as far as martial arts. But boxing wise, man, I've been fighting in the streets, been doing all that crap since I was a kid. So I definitely like throwing my hands more than I do, grappling.
And of course, we don't condone that. I mean, don't do that in the streets. Do it in the ring, of course.
No, that's right. Yeah, so especially coming from me since I'm a teacher, so definitely don't
Exactly.
want to do it in the streets. Don't want to do it at school. You know.
No, for sure, man. And let me ask you, karate, man. I mean, was that something that your parents put you in, or what was it that attracted you to karate?
Okay, so when I graduated, I was a college football player. So when I graduated from college and got done with my football career, I still had that itch, to compete. And the next thing available was, fighting, jujitsu, boxing, or MMA. Amateur MMA was big in Louisiana. I went to school at Louisiana Christian University, right down the street from where I'm fighting, and I fell in love with it. I fell in love. First day I walked into that gym, man. I wanted to spar. So I got my ass handed to me by a guy that he'd been training for a while, and he was smaller. I was supposed, in my mind, I'm like, man, I'm 320 pounds. I'm gonna run through this dude, and he tore me up, man. It's an art. It's definitely an art.
No, no, and then it's things like this that humble you, and of course you're thinking, okay, I gotta learn how to fight, right?
Right? Yeah. Like, man, I thought I knew how to fight, but fighting out there and then fighting in a ring or fighting in a cage, it's two different things, man.
No, no, for sure, man. And let me ask you, I wanted to ask you about that because, of course, you competed in mixed martial arts, you competed in boxing, mixed martial arts. This year, you have not competed in MMA. I mean, was that preference or is that just scheduling?
I think you know, with me, it was I'll fight bare knuckle, I'll fight MMA, I'll fight, I'll do a super fight jiu-jitsu, I'll do boxing, whatever it is. But my management and my coach, they kind of had to tone me down, and they're like, man, you're gonna have to pick one to be effective. So of course, I chose boxing, and I've been really, successful with the boxing. I've won an intercontinental title, I've won a regional title, and a national title. So boxing is where it's at right now, and of course that's where the money's at. And at the end of the day, I'm not fighting for free. I don't, you know, I fight for money. I fight to take care of my family. I fight to take care of myself. So boxing's
That
where it's at right now.
and that's one of the things. I mean, being here myself, I'm here in San Antonio, man, and I mean, boxing. It's always, since I was a kid. I mean, for sure, there's a lot more money in that at times for some promotions, of course, rather than MMA. But let me ask you, when it comes to boxing, I mean, how often do you train? Like, I mean, I know you work during the day as a teacher, so what's your training like?
Man, I get up 3 in the morning every morning. I go do my road work because cardio is key.
Yeah.
Uh, my road work, I get a quick lift in, and then I get some pad work in the morning. I try to do about 8 to 10 rounds of pad work early in the morning. Go to work, and it's football season, and I'm a football coach, so go to football practice. We get done 6:30, 7 o'clock. Make sure my little boy goes to his football practice, and then after that, man, I hit the gym, the boxing gym, and honestly, sometimes, man, I don't get done till about 10:30. It just depends on what I got to do and what I got going on. With this camp for this bare knuckle fight. I know Zach's a tough dude, so
Oh, yeah.
I gotta bust my ass for this fight.
No, no, for sure, man. And I know you had posted at one time you were here in San Antonio and you were coaching that day. And I didn't get a hold of you. By the time I saw your post, you guys were leaving back. But I was like, oh man, I'd love to have you here in the studio, man. But maybe soon, maybe
Yes,
end of the year, man. But as far as coaching, I mean, what got you getting into coaching, man? Because I know, of course, you work with kids. So was that kind of part of it?
it's part of it, and I was an athlete all through school. I remember, 5th grade all the way through college. I did football. I stayed in athletics, and honestly, I think my life would be a little bit different if I didn't stay in athletics. If I didn't have football, football teaches you so much in life in general. Just how to keep driving, keep going, and not quitting because it gets tough. So, I really do think without athletics, man, I don't know where I'd be.
You'd probably be doing a podcast like me, man, because I was not in athletics, bro. I'm not gonna lie, bro. I was a kid that they always pick last, man. They were forced to pick me,
Oh
but yeah.
man.
But bro, I mean, of course, despite like you mentioned, man, your opponent Zachary, man. I mean, he is a tough dude, as are yourself, of course. So, I mean, can we expect a 3-round fight? Is this 3 rounds?
No, it's so with bare knuckle boxing, it's 5 2-minute rounds, and man, I haven't fought bare knuckle. It's been about a year now, a little bit over a year, and Nate, man, I booked the shit out of the matchmaker, Nate, man. I'm always asking for those tough fights, man. I want to fight Bobo. I want to fight Zach. Zach's one of those dudes, man. I saw his first couple fights, man, and that dude there, he's blue collar. He's you can tell he's been through a lot in life, and he's one of those just warriors, man. He's gonna fight till if he's got to die in that ring, he's gonna die in that ring, and that's the kind of stuff that, man, I'm the same way. I'm a blue collar Mexican. I'm gonna go in there. I'm gonna get in your face, and if you knock me out, you knock me out. But my goal is to knock your ass out first. So, I definitely respect Zach, Bobo, all those guys that are doing it.
No, for sure, man. And one of the things about fighters like yourself, man, is that you either got to knock them out or choke them out, man. So, I mean, of course, you guys are going to keep coming, bro. So,
That's
danger.
right.
And then, of course, like you said, it's going to be 5 2-minute rounds. Cardio, I mean, like you mentioned earlier, it is key. The last time we spoke, man, you were talking about head movement, being able to move around a lot and not just standing still for to get punched. But game plan, man, is it kind of the same thing? Go in there and dictate the fight?
The game plan is, just keep moving forward. Keep moving forward. One of my trainers, Jose, he teaches that old Canelo Mexican style. Just keep coming forward, keep coming forward. Of course, I'm not just walking straight into him, but we have a game plan. We want to move around. We want to stay in the pocket. Definitely want to stay in the pocket and throw hard, powerful punches.
No, no, for sure, man. And of course, and not to overlook your opponent because I mean, definitely he's no slouch, man. But you had talked about fighting somebody else that got picked up by BKFC a while back, man. Can you tell us a little bit about that, bro?
Yeah, for sure. Definitely don't want to look Zach, over Zach. Zach's gonna be a fucking great fight. If we're not fighting tonight, man, I don't, it's gonna be an explosive fight. But yeah, Greg Hardy, man, he got signed to the BKFC, and he's just a weirdo. That dude's just weird. Have you ever like he spoke? I think BKFC interviewed him, and he I don't I don't know. Like he's calling these heavyweights cute and you know side on the dotted line. So if you're ready to die and all that shit, man, like that shit's stupid, man. Like you're not gonna kill anybody. He looks fat and overweight. I know because I used to walk around at 320 pounds. And I'm an athlete. I'm athletic. So and then just seeing clips of him training, man, he's not a boxer and all that shit he talks about. These dudes were scared of him in the UFC and they were taking him down to the ground. Like, no, they weren't. No, they weren't. That was you a lot of times. I think most of his fights he won on the ground. So, you know, I'm ready to stand and bang with him. He's one of those guys that I just don't like him because he's a woman beater, you know? So Nate, I was in Nate's inbox asking him, hey man, I'll fight Greg. I ain't worried about Greg. I'm ready to introduce Greg into bare knuckle boxing, and I mean it, that's the goal to fight Greg, man.
No, no, for sure, man. Like you said, not to overlook your opponent, but maybe after this fight, Nate can make it happen, man. Maybe for this year, next year, man. When would you be ready to fight again?
I'll be ready to fight if it's for him next week,
There
the
you
week
go.
after. Man, I'm ready. I
No, no,
stay
for
ready.
sure. And you see, the fact that both you guys come from football. I mean, you of course. I mean, the guy's athletic. He played in the NFL. He did what he did. But you guys kind of have the same path, except for the whole mess that he got into in the news about, man. Of course, but But I mean, so a fight like that would make sense, man. I mean, I would be interested in watching it, man. So I mean, of course, hopefully they make it happen, man. We'll see.
You know, besides the fact that he played for the Cowboys, and I'm a Texas fan, diehard Texas fan. So you know, maybe we can bring the BKFC to Texas, and we can get that going here.
No, you see, and I was going to ask you about that, man, because a while back people were kind of putting it out there that they were planning on coming to Texas. Do you know if that's true?
From what I'm hearing, it's supposed to happen early next year. You know, God willing, it does. I'm ready to, you know, invite the BKFC to Texas, man.
Oh, no, for sure. I mean, I was going to ask you if they come to Texas. Of course, you got to be on that card, right?
Oh, damn right, damn right. You know, I'm gonna be bugging Nate all day, every day if they're coming to Texas.
Oh no,
That's
for
my
sure.
backyard.
Definitely, bro. Because I know when I heard about that, I was excited, man. Because I mean, Texas, of course, you know, the commission here can be a little strict. You know, I mean, it's hard to not hard to deal with them, but I mean, as far as you know, they're here to keep everybody safe and you know get
Right.
do what they gotta do. In other words, but hopefully they do make it happen, man. Because man, I do want to you know go out there and watch these fights, bro.
Damn right.
Now, let me ask you, bro. You mentioned earlier, I mean, jujitsu being your first love, and of course, you know, you being active, you know, when you first started. I mean, even now, do you still train in jujitsu?
I try. You know, I might get a couple rolls in once, maybe twice a week, but as far as being consistent with it, I haven't. And you know, that's one of my ultimate goals. You know, when it's all said and done, I want to be able to say that I continued my jujitsu journey. That I'm, you know, a brown belt, black belt. You know, I want that. You know, that's something that I have to do before you know it's all said and done. So I
No, for sure.
definitely will whenever it's all said and done and the boxing's over and the bare knuckle boxing's over and the MMA is over, I'm going back to that.
There you go, man. Definitely, bro. And let me ask you, I wanted to plug in one thing, man. You had a coach, of course, man, that was more than the coach to you, man. I mean, he passed away, and unfortunately, man. And I mean, I keep seeing you post about him. And so, can you tell us a little bit about the relationship you guys had?
Mike Hammer, man, you know, we're coming up on a year now that he passed. He passed October 13th of last year. So, you know, every time I bring him up or talk about him, you know, it's just one of those things like he changed my life whenever I was going, you know, whenever I was going through a rough patch in life, he changed it because I was ready to quit the MMA, the jujitsu, all of it. I was just in a bad spot where I was, you know, I was going through some legal stuff and he was always there to, you know, get me out of the house, get me out of whatever funk I was in, man. And he's almost like he's a second father figure to me. Him and Ernest, man, they were there through my rough patch in life. So,
Yeah.
you know, my thing is I'm never gonna forget him. I think about him every day still. Um, and he was that tough nosed dude. He was 46, and you know he he'd sit there and he was the only one that I would spar with, and you know he'd always sit there and say, "You can almost hit as hard as me." He was just so full of himself, and just he was just a good dude, man. He was just a good dude, and he was good for the streets here in Huntsville. You know, he grew up rough. He did a stint in prison. You know, he came out and instead of, you know, egging these teenagers and these kids on about the street life, he'd try his best to get them out of it, you know, and I'm glad that I was part of his life and he was part of mine.
No, no, for sure, man. Because I see your posts, your videos, and you know, you guys were always laughing, man. So I know you had that chemistry where you know it's somebody that you could trust, you know, and that's hard to find in life, bro. So I'm glad you were able to, you know, experience that, man. That's cool.
You, you know, it's funny. You say that we were always laughing and you know smiling because me and him probably butt heads the most out of everybody in that gym. Out of you know, it was one of those things where it was good and bad. Like we'd sit there and there'd be times where we'd spar and it'd come to the point where we almost take our gloves off, take our headgear off, and we would turn the clock off, the timer, and we would just go until we were just tired. It was a beautiful relationship, man. It was a blessing to have him in my life.
No, no, for sure, bro. And of course, you know, my condolences for that, man. But I'm glad, you know, I'm glad you experienced that for sure, man, because it's hard, bro. I mean, especially in a lifetime, you know, you're able to find a relationship like that as a friend, a father figure, like you said. And my man, I mean, hopefully, you know, he continues to rest in peace, bro. And I'm gonna plug in this fight real quick, man, because it is happening this Saturday. So it is gonna be
Saturday.
technically tomorrow. So thank you for jumping on this. And of course, it's going to be in Louisiana, like you said, man, and your old stomping ground. So you actually grew up there.
No, so I grew up in Houston, and I finished out my college career in Louisiana, Louisiana Christian University. So that's I think maybe an hour away from where I played college ball at.
Okay, and you still have friends out there, or you
I
lost?
do. I have
Nice.
coaches, teammates. I'm blessed, man. I have a lot of people that are coming to see me and cheering me on. So, you know,
No, for sure, man. Well, of course, man. I thank you for jumping on this as always, bro. It is fight week. I'm gonna be watching, of course. BKFC is happening in Monroe, Louisiana. You are on the main card, so for those watching this, they can download the app, the fight app, and watch along, man. And
that's right,
who's helping you for this fight, man? Do you have any sponsors or anybody you want to thank?
man. Right now, Dr. Lane Chester, he's one of my main. He's always, what do you need? What can I help you with? He's one of my co-managers. So without him, man, I probably hear from him every day. You know, Coach Ernest, Coach Jose out in Conroe, Texas, man. Those two are, they're everything for my training camp. So without them two, it'd be hard, stepping in and taking over for Mike. They've done a great job, and Ernest and Mike, they used to train me. Just everybody, my family, my friends, my coworkers, everybody, man. Because sometimes I'm just so busy. I just stay busy, man. I'm up, 3 in the morning, 10 p.m. and I couldn't do it. My kids, everybody, man.
No, no, for sure, man. And of course, man, I'm gonna wrap this up. Don't hang up yet. Everybody watching, of course, BKFC 30 happening this Saturday. Download the Fight app. Watch. Juan Torres, man. Best of luck to you. Come fight night, bro. Don't hang up yet. Everybody out there, Spider, the Fight Card Podcast. Till next time. Follow up.
Oh, really?